Now, the Social Services Minister Scott Morrison is speaking in Western Sydney after an event to mark the rollout of the National Disability Insurance Scheme in the area.
Sensationalised reporting of these sorts of things creates needless anxiety, and it's another case from that same reporter.
Do you accept some of the draft requirements are different to the way the private nanny industry operates?
Well, it is different to the way the private nanny industry operates because this is a childcare program that goes beyond those arrangements. The in-home nannies program is about giving childcare services and support to families who can't access what other families can through mainstream childcare subsidies. So up until now, those families have been left out. They've had no support. And we're talking about key workers such as nurses and police officers and those working in our fire brigades and others who haven't had the opportunity, shift workers, to get access to childcare services. Now, we're running a trial, and I thank the vast majority of the industry for engaging constructively with that trial process. We'll continue to do that. I hope to be able to have that trial up and running in January of next year, but that of course depends on the ability to get these measures through the Senate over the back half of this year. But it's an important program that is providing services to families who currently don't have them, and all of the issues that are canvassed in the regulatory impact statement are there for consultation so we can ensure the appropriate protections are in place. Well, what's been announced to date is what is the government's plans. And as I said earlier, it's very important in rolling out the NDIS that we get the pace right, that we don't unrealistically raise expectations, that we communicate very clearly about what can potentially be provided, and then we work closely with those families and people with disabilities so they have a good understanding of what may be on offer. And that's why I think events like today are important, because there are parts of the exhibition today where you can go along and have that exact conversation about what your plan might be for how you might be able to be supported, and then how you can engage with the NDIS in terms of ultimately being able to pull a package together. So information first, I think managing expectations and making sure that the practical issues are covered off. So this is a scheme which is not just a great idea, but something that turns into reality. But already we're seeing that happen right here in Western Sydney.
Why do you choose Penrith?
Well, we have a large number of young people here, and it's a growing part of Sydney. And in working with the state government here, it was an area that they'd also identified as a priority, and I think it makes perfect sense. We'll continue to work with the Queensland government, and as we work with all the governments, but it'll take its pace based on the relationships and the working through of issues with each of the states. And there's nothing but good faith for this process, but it'll move at a pace that those partnerships and the working arrangements allow.
Last question.
Any other questions? Last one? Okay. Can I just say one other thing before we go on other matters? And it relates a bit to my old portfolio. I am absolutely amazed that while Bill Shorten has finally acknowledged what everyone had a year ago, that the Coalition's border protection policies had been successful, that he would imagine that anyone out there today would think he would be genuine in his conviction on this issue. I know from personal experience that these are very difficult policies to implement, and you've got to be deadly serious about putting them in place. And you've got to be able to follow through and have the conviction. When I was the Minister for Immigration, I had the support of my Prime Minister, my Cabinet, and every one of our members, including Fiona. And unless you have that resolve across your entire party and across your entire government, then you cannot bring to that issue the sense of resolve and purpose that is necessary to stop those people smugglers in their tracks. We were able to achieve that because we did it as a united team. And all I can see from the Labor Party on this issue is complete division. And division on that issue in a political party, if they were ever to be in government, is the best news the people smugglers could ever have. Thank you very much.
That is the Social Services Minister, Scott Morrison, just taking time there to comment on his previous portfolio of immigration in regards to Bill Shorten and his plan.